I'm bringing to you Sheryl Smith with Smith Real Estate Services joins me. And let me tell you about her. She is so dynamic, everyone. She has a real estate background, but she has more than that. She is passionate about performance, both on stage and in the market. With a background in movie promotions and advertising, she has honed her skills in packaging, marketing, and presentation before she transitioned into real estate. There's this rich story about her and just being an amazing entrepreneur. And today she is dedicated to continuing learning. She is a lifelong learner, which allows her to be ahead of the market trends. It makes her a standout agent, and she provides her clients with such expertise in negotiation, strategic marketing, and top tier services. She's based in Rancho Cordova. She is an active member of the Rancho Cordova Chamber of Commerce, and she is committed to serving her community with integrity and skill. All of her contact information will be listed below in the transcripts, and she's going to give it to us as well before she heads out. But Sheryl, thank you so much for joining my show today. I'm so excited. I met Sheryl through the chamber and doing a program, and I thought she was phenomenal. I think she's an amazing guru. And so I'm excited and honored to have you here. Welcome in, Sheryl. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. I appreciate your having me.
Yeah. So tell my listeners a little bit about you, about your journey, your story, anything you want to share to start off.
I would say the important thing is that you never know where things are going to go because I did start my real estate career after selling advertising to people in the real estate industry.
Okay.
So that is how that came to be. And I actually started in commercial real estate, which is unusual. Most people start in residential. So I started in commercial, and then when the market kind of flipped, there was some changes that were going on, and most notably, it was in 2008 when the residential market started shifting and going downhill fast. My husband was representing the banks in bank-owned properties, and commercial wasn't really going anywhere at that time. And he needed somebody to manage the operations side of the business. And so I came over to help him on the bank-owned sales. He was carrying somewhere between 60 to 70 listings at a time. And so we had a small little team. And so that is how I got into real estate.
Wow, what a story. That's a lot. That's a lot of listings at one time. And you know what? How many years now have you been in real estate?
I was licensed in 2020, no, 2002. So 23 years.
Wow, that's amazing. It's so amazing to see your background in film and then commercials to real estate and all of that, how that evolved to where you are today and how you're out there. And do you love it though? Do you really enjoy it, this side of the house versus the commercial, or do you wish that you might still do commercial?
I have vacillated back and forth with that question, but I really do enjoy working with families. And the investor mindset is all about the dollars and the bottom line. And I really am passionate about everybody having an equal playing field to own real estate. And the best way to do that is with residential. It's the start. And so I like that. Now I don't often work with first time home buyers. I mean, I do and I have, but that is everybody. I believe everybody should have a shot.
I love that. I believe that too. I think that it's a big piece of the American dream, right? To own a home and to be able to have a home and grow in that forever home with people, or even just learn to buy and have it and then sell it as an investment and use money to grow their wealth. Right. There's so many things that home ownership does bring to people. A lot of dignity too. And this way of feeling about oneself. The one thing I admire about you the most is you are an avid learner. You are always learning. You are always seeking knowledge. Can you tell us a little bit about why you do that and why that's so important to you? Because it's really important to you that, this learning piece and what it plays into the entrepreneurship journey and your own personal journey.
The reason that it's so important is because, as I said, everyone deserves to have a shot at it. And there is such a lack of professionalism in our industry, sadly. And people don't find out about this lack of professionalism oftentimes until they're in a transaction. And once they're in the transaction to either buy or sell a home, and they find out that the person that they're working with isn't as knowledgeable as they'd hoped, they're stuck with that person. Once you're in contract, you're in contract. And so even if you find out, I hate them, you can't do anything about it once you're in contract unless you cancel the contract. So that is really important to me. And even going back to what I said earlier about starting in commercial real estate, a lot of people don't realize that in commercial real estate, they all call themselves brokers. There are only two types of real estate licenses in the state of California, which is where I'm located. There's a salesperson's license and there's a broker's license. Well, many commercial brokers, as they call themselves, actually hold the salesperson's license. So when I went into commercial real estate and I realized that, it felt like I had a lack of integrity to call
Wow.
myself a broker when I had a salesperson's license. So I got my broker's license
Mm.
immediately. Well, you can't get it immediately, but I got my broker's license so that when I said I'm a commercial broker, I truly am a commercial broker.
Wow. I did not know that. So why do you think it has become so unprofessional?
Well, I think technology is a large part of it. It is very, very common when I reach out to someone who is, let's say I'm representing a buyer and I'm reaching out to the listing agent, and their voicemail message commonly says, if you want to, I'll call you back, but if you want a faster answer, text me. It's one of the things that's challenging because if I wanted to text you, I would have texted you. I called you because not everything can be handled with a text. And I'm not saying that everything and text, I do use text. I'm not saying that I don't use it, but I am saying that texting is not the be all end all. AI is not the be all end all. There are some times when you're in the midst of the fire in your transaction, you're
Yeah.
having a problem about something. You want to talk to somebody.
Yep.
And when you want to talk to somebody and that somebody is saying, just text me for a faster answer, that can be a little irritating.
Yes, it definitely can, especially with different generations too.
Yeah.
That's not their means of communication. They don't even really communicate like that. And there is something to be said about that human connection. Even texting is not the same human connection as hearing a voice and actually feeling one's energy and their empathy and their understanding, and like you're really talking to that person and they're
Yeah.
really listening versus a text that somebody could be doing other things. Will they even read it? How will they, you can't, there's no tone. There's no real understanding because there's no emotion. You don't know what's going on. Right. And so, yeah, there's definitely some limitations with it. That's really interesting. And I'm a big, I definitely, now that I've shifted here to San Diego and I'm more involved in I have grown a lot of my knowledge in AI, but I still believe very much in the human touch. I won't do bot emails. I don't do any of that stuff. Like I have real conversations with people when I'm networking and reaching out. I think it's very important. I don't want us to lose our human connection. AI is advancing really rapidly, and artificial intelligence, as far as artificial beings go, are actually on the rise. And it's kind of scary to think about what and how it's going to continue to shift your own market, mine, other markets, and people need to be paying attention. But like you said, when you're in the midst of the fire, you want to talk to somebody because you need to talk it through. and you need to have that guidance. So I can see that. I thought to myself when you said it's become so unprofessional because it's kind of been saturated. Like it's like everybody wants to go sell real estate now. I have no interest. No, thank you. I'm cool. It's not my gig. I'm a trainer. I'm a teacher. I like to be wild and come just show up and give you knowledge, but I'm gonna leave that to y'all. Like I don't. And you know what it is? It's money. And you know what? That should not be the intention. What I like about you is that you have this dignity piece, which drives you to want to go get more knowledge so that you can serve better because you're serving the human being, right? This is a human experience. And so for you, which is again, a testament to why you've been in business so long, is that this has been human focused. It's the same for me. Even though I'm business to business, those are my humans in those businesses, and I've been in business now 23 years, right? And that longevity has come from the relationships I've built with these humans and how I care for them, right? And the
Also,
intention.
the other thing that I would say, and sometimes people misunderstand this, it's not age specific. I work with young people. I work
Yeah.
with middle-aged people. I work with older people. None of them, when they're having a problem, want me to say, can you text me? The young people also want to, Sheryl, what do I do? This is happening. What do I do? And to
Yeah.
be that voice of reason, to
Mm.
provide perspective, to provide solutions, as opposed to, yeah, don't bother me. I mean, I'm doing other things. Don't bother me right now.
I know. And that's what it feels like,
Yeah.
right? Don't bother me. I'm doing other things, but I'll take that money when we make that sale or, right? Like it's become a money thing instead of an experience, a human experience thing. Um, Where do you see yourself like over the next 5 years or so? Like, how long do you plan to run this show? Like, you've been in business a long time. Like, do you think you're ever going to retire? Is this something you'll just dibble dabble in, always? What does that look like? Is there a strategy future plan for this?
Big question for me. I real estate is something that I enjoy, and but it can't rule my life at some point. I'm at a stage in my career where, yes, I expect that I probably will still, you said 5 years from now, that I'll still be doing real estate 5 years from now, but I'm not in that mode that says I want to be selling a house a week and all. I mean, that is behind me. Well, I never sold a house a week, but that's just not the goal. What I ideally would like to be able to do is to share the 23 years of experience that I've had with people who are coming up, who are willing to do the work. One of the conversations that I have with people is, when they're trying to figure out, well, which brokerage am I going to go to work for? And they're making their primary decision based on broker splits. Because we're in the commission business, they're looking to go, well, I want to go to the one that's going to get me, I get the biggest split that I can get. And what I point out to them is there is a price of education. If you go to a 4-year university, you're going to pay a lot of money these days. So you're going to
Yes.
pay a lot of money to go, and you're not going to be earning anything during that time unless you have a separate job that's outside of that. Or maybe you're a teacher's aide or something, but you're not making money. But you come into the real estate space and think that you have a license, so now all you're looking at is what your split is going to be. And then usually after I have that conversation with someone, if I'm in any kind of relationship with them, fast forward a year or so, they're not getting what they want. They're looking at making a change, but they're still using that broker split as the main thing. Starting in commercial real estate, you did not have that. I mean, you had to work like a dog, basically, as an indentured servant, is the way it felt, and make
Wow.
very little money. But I was learning, and I knew that there was a price of learning.
Mm.
And that seems to be missing, which also leads to the lack of professionalism in our industry.